All right, Mayor, you can begin.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, council members, and
It's afternoon.
good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon to everyone watching us online. Today is Tuesday, May 26, 2020. This is our regular council meeting, and the meeting is called to order, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Estimate Irvin.
Present. I'm sorry, I was muted. Thank you.
May.
Okay.
Mayor Biename.
Here,
Vice Mayor Deslame.
Here.
Councilman Galvin.
Here.
Councilwoman Keys.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
thank you very much, Madam Clerk, and we're going to start with the city manager. Mr. Manager, do we have any addition, deletion, amendment, or deferral to the agenda?
Yes, sir. At this time, I'd like to remove tab I from the agenda for today.
Remove type I of the agenda. Thank you very much. City Attorney yes, ma'am.
Can I ask why? Mr. City Manager.
No, we're not discussing on it since he's removing it completely. And I think the city manager should talk to you before we do that. But since he's removing it, we're not having any discussion on it.
Right, but I had no idea that it was going to be removed, and I just want to know why. That's all.
Okay, city manager, can you give Councilwoman Marie-Estime an explanation, please?
Yes. Councilwoman, we were going through the item this morning, and there are a couple of things that aren't completely shored up on regarding the Clean City team and exactly what the change in pricing means for the city. So I'm asking to remove it, and I will go back and work with the staff on finalizing the item, and we should be ready for the item to come back at the next meeting. I apologize for that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. City Attorney and Jeff Cazo, is the agenda set?
Yes, sir, the agenda set. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. And now we have special presentation about COVID-19 updates by Commander Angelo M. Brinson II.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? I can't get on the webcam. It's too full.
Yes,
Okay.
I hear you.
To remove ourselves from there, just give us a second.
Go ahead, Commander Brinson.
Okay, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Commander Angelo Brinson, Emergency Manager. Just a brief summary of the current COVID-19 cases in the state of Florida and more specifically for the city of North Miami. As of yesterday, there have been 909,928 tested for COVID-19. Out of those tested, the state of Florida has a total of 51,746 cases and unfortunately 2,252 deaths. Now, down to Miami-Dade County, there's a total of 17,041 cases. There are currently 2,700 people hospitalized with COVID-19 related illnesses and 633 deaths. For the city of Miami, as of last night, the report issued, we have 306 confirmed cases of COVID-19 within the city of North Miami. And we don't have an exact number of individuals within North Miami who have passed away. Now, just to put that number in perspective, nationwide, there's currently 1,665,000 cases of COVID-19 with over 98,000 deaths. And worldwide, there's 5.5 million cases and 347,000 deaths. So as a reminder for everyone, this is still a very real issue. So we want to remind everyone to continue to practice their social distancing and wear facial coverings whenever they're coming in contact with others. Thank you, sir. Any questions?
Thank you very much. I have a question for the chief. I don't know. I saw him early. I don't know if he's still there. Do we have any question for Mr. Branson, Vice Mayor, council members? Before I talk to the chief. How do you deal with safety in the city during this time of COVID-19?
Good afternoon, Larry Jariga, Police Chief. The way we've been handling it is we've been working together with the community, pushing for participatory compliance. We're doing that by educating the businesses, continuing to educate the residents, not only with signage, but with our verbal contact, as well as with social media and radio presentations we've been doing.
And actually, I'm on the street these days.
I'm sorry?
I see your guys on the street more these days.
Yes, sir.
Everywhere.
We've taken the approach
the city everywhere passing, and I see someone on the street.
Yes, sir. We want to reassure the community that we're out there supporting them and there, not only to keep them safe, but to be able to answer questions if they need them. Our entire department is in uniform. Even our administration and our investigators are wearing uniforms. Just to, again, give the reassurance to our community that we're there if they need us, whether it's city-sponsored events or even some of the private events that are going on. We're placing our officers there just to be reassuring to everyone.
Another question. I know that everyone is home, and there is no school. And do you have an increase on cases of break-in?
No, we're not seeing an uptick in crimes. In certain areas, we do have increase in calls for service, just depending on what the situation is, but not on the crimes themselves. Fortunately, everyone has been very cooperative with us as far as staying off the streets, and by staying off the streets, that eliminates the opportunity for people to become victimized. And I know you mentioned people not being in school, children not being in school. Our PAL program is still staying in touch with many of the school children, either assisting them with their homework or having our daily contacts with them. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, we have a lunch and learn with the PAL kids. So we're doing the best we can, as all of you are.
Thank you very much. And do we have any question for the chief before we move forward? And Councilwoman, yes.
Thank you. Chief, thank you for all that you do. You mentioned that you're dealing with the PAL youth. How are you meeting with them, or how are you encouraging them?
We're doing it. We're having virtual meetings, which is pretty cool to see them, similar to the way you see the group here, almost like the Brady Bunch with all the different pictures up there. But we get a dozen, sometimes almost 24 of the children on the screen. We've done everything from exercise groups to lunches. Tomorrow we're having chicken wings if anybody wants to join us for that. Then those children and their families who are in need, we stop by and provide them either the financial assistance if necessary, or some of the giveaways with the food and the Publix gift cards.
And can someone still, if they're interested in joining PAL, even through this pandemic, how can they join?
Certainly, they can call our police department. Just call the regular number, 305-891-8111. They can call us directly, and we'll get them in touch with the right officer. Officer Busareth is generally visiting PAL during the day, but she's also working the street. As the mayor indicated, we have everybody out on the roadways for the reassuring factor.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the great work.
Do we have all the equipments needed for our officers?
Yes, sir. We have
Equipments, masks, and proper equipment, so we can deal with the residents in case of need.
Yes, sir. We're fully equipped with all the necessary PPEs, including masks, to ensure that our officers are safe and they in turn keep the community safe.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions before we move on? No question, Chief. Thank you. Thank you, Commander Benson.
Thank you.
And now let's move with the consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda. Madam Clerk.
Turn our camera back on. So before I go ahead and read the consent agenda, I just want to remind everyone of a few things. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanessa Joseph, and I'm your elected city clerk. Thank you for attending this afternoon's virtual regular council meeting. This meeting will allow live public comment by attendees. Public hearing will take place upon announcement by the chair of the meeting, Mayor Philippe Bien-Aimé. From that time, attendees will be able to virtually raise their hand, and this should function similarly to lining up at the podium. Attendees cannot leave their hand raised throughout the entire meeting. So you must raise your hand when the item is read, or else it will be removed. Do not forget to state your full name and complete address for the record. And remember, you will have up to 2 minutes to make your comment. Thank you in advance for your understanding and your feedback. Consent agenda. Unless a member of the City Council wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tabs A through C constitute the consent agenda. These resolutions and items are self-explanatory and are not expected to require additional review or discussion. These items will be recorded as individually numbered resolutions adopted unanimously by the following motion. Quote, that the consent agenda comprised of tabs A through Z be adopted. End quote.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion on the consent?
So moved.
Second.
Motion.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Keys to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estimé Urban. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with 85-0 vote.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. We're going to move to tab D, but before I have a question for the city manager. Now, what is the next step as far as those 2 annexations?
So we signed the interlocal agreement. This is for us to move forward the interlocal agreement. They'll go back to the county and go before the county board, and then we'll move forward. Ricardo, can you plug Tanya in and let Tanya ask some additional comments for me?
Hi, Ricardo, I'm here. Were you going to
Go ahead, Tanya.
Yeah, just to echo what the city manager just said, now that the city has approved both interlocal agreements, that will go back over to the county, and they'll need to schedule a board of county commission meeting to accept the city's interlocal agreement. From there, Gratney-Dixie then will go through the administrative process of having all the folios transferred over from 30 to 06. So that one is just more procedural for Gratney-Dixie. For some states, as you know, it still requires an election. So at that Board of County Commission meeting, they'll determine when that election will occur, and we'll actually have a date. So we'll have a better idea as to when we'll have the election in that area. For some states, that is.
Okay, so if I understand, both items got to go before the commission board, right?
Correct.
For
Both
approval,
items.
final approval.
To accept the interlocal. Correct.
Okay, and the second one, that's when they're going to tell you when the election is going to be held?
Correct. For the Sunset area, that's the only one requiring an election.
Okay. Is there any question on that before we move on to tab D?
Yeah, Tanya, I have a quick question in regards that particular tab. Isn't it it's not set yet? It's in November. It's in August in the August primary, or would they have the possibility of moving it to November?
So we won't know the definitive date until it's heard at the Board of County Commission meeting. That's when they make the determination of the actual date.
And that's
So we're
when.
almost- So they haven't scheduled their meeting as yet. So we're really just doing the first phase of making sure that we finalize the interlocal and we send it back to the county. Then they'll schedule it for the next public hearing before the Board of County Commission. And at that meeting, then they'll make a determination on the date, the election date.
Thank you.
All right, no
Thank
problem.
you. Thank you very much. No more question. Let's move to tab D, Madam Clerk.
Tab D, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to terminate the bifurcated ground lease between the city of North Miami, Florida, the Oaks 1 at Biscayne Landing Condominium Association, Inc., and Royal Oaks Lane, Biscayne Landing, North Miami, LLC. Authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute the sale and transfer of fee simple interest in each of condominium units to the applicable owners, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab D.
Mr. Mayor and Council, as you recall, I believe it was back at the end of January, this item came before the board to terminate the land lease for the Oaks 151 at Biscayne. At that time, we only had one appraisal done, and the Oaks offered us approximately $9.5 million for the land. I believe it was the board that, asked for us to go back and, get the second, according to the charter, get the second appraisal and to negotiate a price. The second appraisal did come in. The first one was $9.5 million. The second appraisal came in approximately $11 million. I've worked with Mr. Andrew Hellinger, and the easiest way for us to do it was really split the price in the middle. And I know I've briefed everyone speaking to them on the price. Mr. Hellinger is available, but he has, him and his board have agreed to the sale price of $10,250,000 to be closed on within 45 days of approval of this item. If there are any questions, Mr. Hellinger is here to answer the questions. And that's it. I look for your support in approving the item and moving forward with the documentation, the paperwork.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do we have any comments?
So we do not have, okay. We do not have any hands raised right now, public comment.
And you don't have any emails sent to you?
So we do have emails, none directly, I think maybe one directly on this. So would you like me to read them at this time?
Yes, sir.
All right. On tab D, the sale of the land, William Simpson, 2005 Alamanda Drive, North Miami, Florida, 33181. On tab D, the sale of the land, what are the proceeds of the sale going to be used for? Are they going in the reserve fund or in the general fund for day-to-day operations? Okay. And Jessica Alston, who failed to include her residential address. In consideration, this is for tab D and E, in consideration of the latest NOMI fiscal disaster.
What tab?
Tab D and E. In consideration of the latest NOMI fiscal disaster, the Red Garden debacle, we should have no confidence in the ability of the interim city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute any agreement for the city without input from an impartial third party with actuary experience. Over poor judgment has been demonstrated, and this must stop now.
That's it?
And that is it with respect to tab D as specified by the comments.
And nobody raised their hand and have any question or any comments?
I'm going to check one more time to make sure that we don't have any raised hands.
Okay.
And as of now, I do not have any raised hands.
Thank you very much. And now we are going to close public hearing on tab D. Any members of the council? Yes, Councilman Gavin.
Thank you. I will ask the same question that Mr. Simpson asked. If we don't have an idea of where that money is going at this very minute, I would suggest we have some sort of special council meeting or workshop in some way to decide where we want the money to go. First question for staff, where is it going to go? And I'll leave it at that.
But Councilman Galvin, it's not up to staff, it's up to you. I think after the sale, that's when we're gonna appropriate the money. We have the first money from Biscayne Lending, plus that money, we are the one that got to decide what we wanna do with the money, with the full amount of money. And I hope that, and I know the administration doesn't have any authorization to use a penny of that money as of right now. Either the first sale and that one, and we as the policy maker are the one responsible to appropriate or reappropriate that money.
I agree with you there. So how do we as council want to handle that? Do we want to have a workshop? Do we want to have a special council meeting? How do we prioritize which projects we want to move?
First of all, we have the first chunk of money. I'm pretty much sure the money is there as an allocated fund in the budget. After 45 days after the sale of this one, I think we can put both together. Maybe we'll have we will decide what we're gonna do with everything.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilwoman Keys.
Yeah, excellent question. Thank you, Mr. Simpson and Councilman. I think a special meeting would be appropriate. I would like to see where we are with the CAFR. We should be having that any day. I'd like to see what happened with last year. I'd also like an analysis of where we are today with regard to our budget. It's really unclear. I know we've got layoffs, we've got the COVID expenses, what we've spent, what we expect to come back. But I'd really like a financial presentation where we were last year, where we are now, before we do anything with our money.
Oh, and like I said, it's going to be a decision by mayor and council of the money. The administration doesn't have the authorization to spend any of that money. We
need an analysis of where we are today and what happened last year. We've got to see where we're at.
Yeah, that's something
I'm
different.
requesting that.
But it got nothing to do with the sale of that land. All we got to know, the money is going and to the city's bank account, and mayor and council are going to decide what to do with the money. That's when, to answer Mr. Simpson, the money is going to stay at the bank, and mayor and council will decide it. Question, Vice Mayor, Councilwoman Estimé Irvin, do you have any question before I hear motion to approve that? No question, Vice Mayor, no question or nothing? And unmute yourself, Vice Mayor.
Yes, sir, no question. I think Councilman Galvin asked my question and Councilwoman Keys, and I think you stated that we will be having a workshop or decide what we do. So I'm good with that.
We don't, thank you, okay. And the only question that I have for city manager, and it's gonna be closing within 45 days, and it will be one lump sum, right?
Yes, sir. That's the goal, sir. Yes.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion to approve the item? Tab D.
So moved. So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab D. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab E, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, adopting the local housing assistance plan, LHAP, as required by the William E. Sadowski Affordable Housing Act of 1992 and the State Housing Initiatives Partnership, SHIP Act, for fiscal years 2020 to 2021, 2021 to 2022, and 2022 to 2023, further authorizing the interim city manager and city attorney to execute and submit the local housing assistance plan and any other necessary documents to the Florida Housing Finance Corporation for its review and final approval as required by Florida law, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes, tab E.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is our LHAP, which is required for us to approve a 3-year plan. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our Social Services Director, Ms. Albert Brazil, to go a little more into detail.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council members. Albert Bazil, Housing and Social Service Director, through the interim city manager. Before you this afternoon is staff seeking approval of the Local Housing Assistance Program, LHAP, for the City of North Miami SHIP program for fiscal year 2021, 21-22, 22-23, as required by the William Sadowski Affordable Housing Act and the State Housing Initiatives Partnership SHIP program. The state of Florida and the Florida Housing Finance Corporation provides funds to the city for affordable housing activities through the SHIP program. As a requirement for funding, the city must submit a local housing assistance plan, LHAP, every 3 years. Back in 2017, the City Council approved the last LHAP for 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, where we outline various affordable housing programs for North Miami residents under the first come, first served criteria. The proposed LHAP tonight for the years 2021, 21-22, 22-23 once more features initiatives that will advance affordable housing for city's residents, with preference given to special needs families, persons with disability, elderly, and very low income households. In addition, the proposed LHAP exhibits the current lottery selection process instead of first come, first served used previously by the city. This item was presented to the Planning Commission Board on May 5th, 2020, where the board reviewed the item and recommended unanimously approval to the mayor and city council with the condition that the discrimination protection in the LHAP also apply to individuals' sexual orientation. The proposed recommendation was considered and addressed in the plan under Section J, discrimination. We must also point out that this item was already submitted to the state for review and we received conditional approval pending your approval. In conclusion, the proposed LHAP outlines the programs and guidelines which will allow staff to provide services to North Miami residents through various affordable housing strategies for the years 2021, 21-22, 22-23, should funding become available. Staff respectfully request that the mayor and city council approve the proposed LHAP. This concludes my presentation. I'm available here along with Ms. Mary Jean Ferrance for your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments?
As mentioned before, Ms. Alston's comment was already read previously. Please let me know if you would like me to read it again.
No.
However, we don't have hands raised on the actual application. For those of you who are joined via phone on GoToWebinar, please press *9 to raise your hand. And Mayor, if you'll allow a few seconds to see whether folks raise their hand on the phone.
Public hearing is open on tab E right now. Public hearing is open on tab E. Public hearing is now closed.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Ricardo, can you confirm whether anybody pressed *9 on the phone?
No hands are raised.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Now let's turn it to council members. Motion to approve or discussion.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Desilme to approve the item at tab E. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Tab F.
Tab F, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending the previously adopted fiscal year 2019-2020 Community Development Block Grant CDBG Action Plan to provide for the special grant allocation of Community Development Block Grant CDBG-CV grant funds made available to the city through the CARES Act to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the coronavirus COVID-19 crisis in the amount of $452,692 from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. That is tab F.
Mr. Mayor, this item, as everyone recalls, is the money that was handed down from HUD for the COVID relief. We've had conversations on what the possibilities were with this money, and really we're in a rush to put this money out. As you recall, last council meeting, we approved the item that did the public notice, changed the public notice from 30 days down to 5 days. With that being said, this item was advertised in the paper, and it was advertised to what our plans were to spend the money. This will focus, extremely on those outside of the CRA district, as we've already provided aid to most in the CRA district. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to the Housing and Social Services Director, Albert Brazil, to walk us through a PowerPoint presentation. And Tanya Wilson also will help her with the presentation.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. We discussed a plan with administration, and the following slide will show exactly how the city intend to use the funds to assess, to respond, to prepare, and to prevent the health crisis. We go to slide 2, please. Back in March 27, 2020, Congress authorized the CARE Act, which was signed by President Trump on the same day to respond to the growing effect of this virus. On April 2nd, 2020, HUD informed the city that the city was allocated a total of $452,692 in CDBG. Next slide, please. We need this funds was allocated to the city, like I said, to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the harmful effect of the coronavirus. There is a list of eligible activity that we can do with this money, and this is what you're gonna see in the following slide, where we show the various activity that can be done using this funding. While we are trying to allocate those funds to respond to the urgent needs of the community, there is one thing we need to keep in mind. This funding must meet one of the 3 national objectives of HUD. This funding must benefit low to moderate income individuals. It should aid in the prevention or elimination of slum or blight, and it needs to meet community development needs, having a particular urgency, which is our case right now with the current COVID-19 situation. Next slide, please. Under the NOMI economic recovery plan, using the CDBG money, we identified 3 areas that need assistance urgently. We are looking at public service assistance, emergency rental, mental health, business assistance, and the workforce. Next slide, please. As you all know, all grant that we receive from HUD, there is a 20% that is allocated for the administration of the grant.
10%.
Staff, along with administration, has elected to use 10% to cover those administrative costs. Next, speaker. No, our first proposal will cover public service assistance. The goal using providing assistance for public services We want to increase the provision of hot and cooked meal to the most vulnerable and confined individuals. We are seeing people that are being quarantined due to COVID-19, our elderly residents who are homebound, and anybody who are in need and are related to the COVID-19. We want to supplement food distribution throughout the city to families affected by the COVID-19, not only the ones that are affected by the virus, but who are in need following the COVID-19. We project to assist approximately 100 residents for the next 3 months. How are we going to carry out this project? We will partner with nonprofit organizations, licensed catering company, and restaurant that will prepare and deliver those food to eligible participants. And the criteria for those people to provide the service, they need to be experienced organization or businesses working already in the industry. Our second proposal is emergency rental assistance. The goal here is to provide assistance to residents that live outside the North Miami CRA boundaries, affected by either reduced or lost in wages due to COVID-19. How are we going to do that? There is no partnership here. The city will administer the program. The Housing and Social Services Department will administer the program. And the goal is to provide up to $1,000 per household through the landlord or its designee. With this allocation, we expect to assist around 157 families. And what are the criteria for those people to be eligible? The first one, you need to live outside. We need to live outside the CRA boundaries. Your total income cannot exceed 80% of the area median income, and you need to have at least 1 year lease signed and executed prior to February 28, 2020. Selection, applicant will be selected through a lottery process once eligibility has been determined. Next slide, please. Our third proposal to provide assistance is mental health assistance to COVID-19 affected residents. As we mentioned earlier, contrary to hunger, homelessness, mental health issue can go unnoticed. We can see that someone is hungry, someone can come and ask for assistance if they are getting a notice eviction, but it's very rare that we will find someone who walk into our office and say, I need mental health assistance. But those cases exist. There is this need, and the city need to assist the people. How are we gonna carry this project? We are going to partner with mental health specialists in order to provide emotional support to those people whose life has been severely impacted by the pandemic. And to do so, we're going to put out a request for proposal that will be sent out to bring on board qualified specialists. And the criteria will be, they need to be existing and experienced mental health specialists working in the industry. With that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Sejour, to Ms. Tanya Sejour, to continue the proposal.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Tanya Wilson with Community Planning and Development. Albert just provided an overview from the proposal from the housing perspective. One of the other things you'll note through the CDBO-CV is that there's an emphasis on the business, the economic development, and the labor force side. So what I'll show you in my presentation is a proposal as to how we can assist. And again, the focus of the CDBO-CV funds is for the prevention of the spread of COVID-19, but also for the recovery and stabilization of the local economy, the local businesses. So the slide on the screen, this is proposal 4, and we've dubbed this one the North Miami Legacy Business Stabilization Grant. The focus there is to help those cornerstone establishments within the city that have been within North Miami for at least 15 years. We're describing these legacy businesses as those that have been through various recessions, have been through various hurricanes, have been with North Miami through thick and thin and are still there hanging on. We believe that it is only right to make sure that these businesses don't go under. So we're looking to create that stabilization plan for those long-term, very mature businesses that have been in North Miami for at least 15 years. So we're referring to those as the legacy businesses. So for those businesses, the recommendation is to provide grant amounts not to exceed $5,000 for each legacy business. So we're looking to assist at least 10 legacy businesses within the city. So the request there is for an allocation of $50,000 to support North Miami's legacy business. Next slide. So in looking at the support to the legacy business, and again, I refer to the CDBO-CV intent. It's to prevent the spread, it's to make sure that there's activation and stabilization of many of these businesses that have been severely impacted. So the grant itself, can you hear me?
Yes.
Technical difficulties, we're still there. So the grant itself will cover things like inventory, supplies, even things like cleaning and sanitation. We realize it's going to be a major issue for many of our businesses that have to make sure that their spaces continue to be sanitized on a daily basis. So we're looking for that funding for the businesses, again, to be somewhat of a capital source to help to reignite, to get them back within the marketplace. So again, the focus there is on 10 legacy businesses over $50,000. Next slide, please. The next proposal, proposal 5, we're describing as the North Miami Regular Business Stabilization Grant. This grant is similar to the CRA grant, where it's available to any business within the city. It's not eligible, though, for businesses that have already received a CRA grant. We're looking to extend the pot, we're looking to extend the reach so we can help as many businesses as possible within the city. The maximum grant amount there will be for $1,000, looking to assist 25 businesses within North Miami. Again, this one is similar in terms of the purpose. It's to provide that short-term capital, it's to get them back in the marketplace. It's to make sure we're providing money for things like the inventory, the supplies. I want to stress again, for even cleaning, deep cleaning, general cleaning services to help to sanitize these spaces on a daily basis. So that one we're referring to as the North Miami Regular Business Stabilization Grant. And of course, with all grants, we make sure that the grant recipients have a certificate of use and they have business tax receipts and they have no liens, and we'll provide guidelines as we go through the process to make sure that these businesses are whole and are able to be supported and maintain their presence in North Miami. Next slide, please. This one we're referring to on proposal 6 as the Smart Business E-Commerce Micro Grant. The allocation request for that one is $20,000. It's interesting when you look at the CDC website, one of the recommendations is that businesses focus on shifting their approach from, instead of being an in-person operation, to a more digitally focused emphasis, where they have a presence on the website, where they have an e-commerce focus. We do know that within the country, 50% of all small businesses have no website, have no web presence. We recognize from that, for those that are not able to make that transition and make that leap into the digital marketplace, that it becomes then an encumbrance and it becomes a challenge for them to be able to compete in this new marketplace that's more digitally focused. So we're looking for the Smart Business Grant to assist businesses in making that transition from the in-store storefront presence to have a greater digital infrastructure in place that they can start to provide these goods and services online and start to have more of a digital presence. Next slide, please. So the focus there again is requesting for an allocation of $20,000 to assist at least 13 North Miami businesses to become more digitally proficient. The grant amount would allow for up to $1,500 per business. And it'd be covering things like providing a computer to these businesses, a printer, a scanner, helping them to create a website, providing tech support, software and hardware, something as basic as virus protection. We know that in this new digital marketplace that many of them are susceptible to hacking and other things. When you're focused as a business right now on light, water, and rent, something like a digital presence then becomes less attainable. And we want to be able to give them that security and strengthen the businesses. It's interesting that the CRA had a survey that was issued 2 weeks ago. And one of the responses in the survey, when the businesses in North Miami were asked, what do you need to be proficient and what do you need to help your survival in this difficult economy? One of the responses, one of the high responses, I would say, was a request for digital and e-commerce and marketing support. As much as 15% of the responses from our businesses said we need help in that area. 45% said they needed more of a marketing presence online. So we recognize that this definitely is a need for our local businesses, and we want to give them the tools that they need to be able to survive in this difficult economy. Next slide, please. The seventh proposal, and this is the last in the series of proposals, this one is more focused on the labor force. Before we talked more about the housing market and we talked about the businesses, but one of the chronic cases that we know exists in the city is a high level of unemployment that we currently see. Looking at the data, it's clear that the unemployment figures are the highest that we've ever seen in our city. We typically on average have an unemployment rate that's between 3 to 4%. Last check-in with our economists last week indicated that the unemployment is as high as 15%. That's chronic levels, and we know that there are many people that are without work right now. That level of unemployment, of course, puts additional burdens and pressures on the social service needs. So through the CDBO-CV funding, the federal government has asked local government to think about workforce strategies. For this one, we're focusing on workforce training and certification. This one is carried out then through partnership with local institutions. For example, like FIU, who's able to issue certifications or badging programs that are uniquely tailored towards the healthcare industry with things that will help to fight infectious disease, things that will give them proficiencies in even medical coding. Because again, the funding is intended to help to prevent the spread of, to reduce the incidence, to put folks back to work. And we know that these are high demand areas that they're looking for expertise and folks that are able to quickly be absorbed into the new market and the new jobs that are being created in that area. We want to be able to put North Miami's workforce back to work, and we believe that if we give them the tools to be certified and to be proficient in these areas, they'll become more competitive in the market. So that one, we're looking to have an allocation of $25,000 towards workforce training and certification. Next slide, please. All right, and one of the things that we're looking for in that partnership with an institution is not just the certification, but the ability to have apprenticeship. I know through FIU in conversations that we've had, they already have funding that's set up to be able to assist with apprenticeship assignments with local employers. So we think that's a good partnership if we're able to create the certification, the badging, and then the final stage of actual job placement. So we're looking to work within that area to give our local economy those tools. Next slide. And this one is just an at a glance for the mayor and council and the members of the public that are viewing right now. So you can see how extensive the list of recommendations are. It's because the issues and the needs in the marketplace right now are that chronic, and the needs are that deep that we felt as staff and administration that we needed to at least touch on as many areas as we could to help with that stabilization effort. Is it a silver bullet or a cure-all? Absolutely not. We don't believe that, but we think across the gamut, from housing to the businesses to the workforce, that this will at least start the process, begin the conversation, and help in some effort to stabilize North Miami's economy. So this ends my presentation at this time. The council has some questions for staff.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add a couple points in the presentation. For the emergency rental assistance, we will be repurposing $85,000 from the home funds, which will bring the number for the emergency rental assistance up to $242,000. So we will be assisting approximately 242 households. And also, we were, with the workforce, we were looking at FIU. I know FIU's in the presentation. It has come to our attention from a couple members from the dais that we maybe will look to partner with a couple other organizations and look into that. Other organizations that, you know, may do something a little different than FIU. So we still are looking at who we're going to partner with on the workforce. But I definitely wanted to put on the record the 85 additional thousand towards emergency rental assistance. And I know we shared that with everybody during the briefings. At this time, I turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. And Madam Clerk, do you have any comments? Let's open it to the public first. Public hearing is open on the item. Madam Clerk, do you have any email sent to you prior, or do you have anyone wishes to?
Just a reminder that anybody who's participating via phone, please press *9 now to raise your hand for public comment. I'm going to go through hands raised in the application, and I do not see any.
Okay.
And we don't have any comments specific to tab F previously submitted.
Thank you. Public hearing is open on tab F.
Can you confirm whether you have any hands raised on the phone?
There's none.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed on tab F. And Councilman Galvin?
Yes, thank you. On the first couple, there was about 7 different programs presented to us. On the first couple, it was specifically stated that they are for areas outside the CRA. Is that true for all 7 or just the first couple that we heard from?
I think the only thing that we can put outside the CRA is the rental program. Since we are helping people within the CRA boundary, so we can use that 242,000 for people outside of the CRA. But the rest of the program is throughout the city, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know.
If I may, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
The outside the CRA was also going to apply to the small business assistance.
Why is that?
Because the CRA did do grants for the CRA people. CRA. So it would as staff's eyes, we felt that it would give those outside of the CRA the opportunity because they had no opportunity at the last pot of money.
Yeah, but understand. Okay, yes, guys. Understand that the money is from the housing urban development federal money, and it's federal guideline, and it just needs to be moderate or low income. But I don't know if you can receive the area based on the federal money that you receive. It's not like general funds, federal money. Councilman Galvin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Mr. Sori. We just saw a presentation on 7 different items. Am I correct? Do that from memory?
I didn't catch the last part.
How many programs did you just present to us?
It was, I believe, 7 programs, sir.
Of the 7, how many do not apply to outside of the CRA?
Not applying to outside the CRA would be my, all of them, for me, all of them is outside. Let me turn it over to Tanya just to make sure. Tanya, would you?
And before receiving that money, I think I was the first one who was briefed, whether by the housing authority, whether by the federal government, and even the White House. I was briefed on that. That's federal money. I don't know if we can I understand we can go based on income and with the guideline. I don't think you can say all the program was out or is outside of the CIA. I don't know. You can make that determination.
Yeah,
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Galvin, go ahead. Councilman Galvin, go ahead.
This is a city allocation, not a CRA allocation. Sure, this is a city allocation, not a CRA allocation. I don't think it's fair if we take city money and make it only available to people in the CRA. Include the people that are in the CRA, but it should be available to anyone in the city because it's HUD money for anyone in the city. And believe it or not, there are poor people east of Biscayne Boulevard too who are struggling and have been laid off. So I recognize that maybe a lot of Keystone or maybe San Souci won't be able to apply, but if they meet the standards in an apartment building on Northeast 20th Drive, I think they should be able to get in on this.
And I agree with you, and I understand that. But I don't think the administration can decide it. We're gonna put people outside the CIA. That's federal money and federal guidelines, federal fund. And I think we cannot. There is no guideline as far as location, and I don't think the administration can make that decision. As far as the only thing we can say, people who already receive money from the CIA won't be able to apply or qualify for that money. But as far as it is outside of the CIA boundary, I don't think you can take federal money and do that with it.
Then I need clarification from staff. Like I said, everybody within the CRA got the first bite at the apple, the second bite, the third bite, the fourth bite. Finally, we're allowing some people outside of the CRA to take a bite. But if they can only do 2 of the 7 programs, I think that's doing injustice to them.
No, it's only one program, I think, Councilman Galvin, the rental program. And when I received the check and then the letter from OD, and I was the first one talking to the administration to see, why don't you put some of that money for people outside the CIA even before? On record, Councilman Galvin, you asked for that and at the last meeting, and we asked the administration and to put some money aside to help those people, because we do understand on 135th in some other area of the city, you have people that in need, and those people does not fit the CIA criteria, and we were supposed to have those people. From that $450,000, we're gonna have those people. I don't think all those programs are citywide. The only thing we can specify is the 242,000. We can say, okay, we want to have people outside the CIA boundary, or we can just say people who already receive help from the CIA cannot apply for that.
From my standpoint, it would just be a lot easier if we said, I know there are 2 programs that are for outside of the CRA. For the other 5, it would be great if we just said to the whole city, if you haven't already, received funds.
Yeah, it's the whole city, and I think the only thing we can do, like I said, is only the emergency tenant-based medical assistant. We can say, okay, if you already receive funds from the CIA, you cannot apply for that. But we cannot specify and take federal money and say this group can apply or not.
I have a couple of other questions about that.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead, Councilman Galvin.
Thank you. For the mental health program, we're going to pay mental health providers, but how do we know that they're deserving of the money? I mean, there are some wealthy mental health providers, and how do we know that the clients they're going to serve are in the city of North Miami?
Turn it over to Albert. Albert, go ahead.
Councilman, one of the criteria to receive this mental health assistance will be that you are a North Miami resident. And it's not just saying you are a North Miami resident. We will have to vet those people before they can receive that service.
So does the money go to the mental health provider or the mental health client?
No, mental health provider, not the client.
Okay, so how do you know that the mental health provider is in need? How do you, are you saying that because the client is in need, then we can pay the provider to provide the service to the client?
Now, the provider will have to, first of all, we're gonna vet the resident to make sure that he is a North Miami resident, and then we're gonna request a first assessment from the provider. It's from this Councilwoman?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
hold on. Isn't
No,
that
go
a
ahead. Can you answer the question, Albert? Yes.
Are those,
Carol,
aren't
I have
the
my hand up. Go ahead, Carol. After Carol.
Well,
I understand.
can Albert finish? Can she finish answer the question of Councilman Galvin about vetting those people
Okay.
for the mental health program?
Go ahead.
So from this assessment, Councilman, they're gonna submit us like an evaluation to let us know this, we assess this patient, this is what he need. And now we are looking at one-on-one consultation or group therapy depending on the provider recommendation.
And the thing that we got to be not people with pre-existing condition, is people affected by COVID-19 or people tested positive with COVID-19 or who lost their job based on COVID-19. That's the other criteria that they're gonna have to show.
if somebody is newly in need of mental health care, is there not a HIPAA issue with that being revealed to the city? That's somebody's private medical information. How do we get up all in their business and say,
that's why the city is getting, that's why the city is gonna hire providers. That's mean it's not the city that's gonna do that. Because in the briefing, right, it's like the government know that we're gonna have that problem in the city. That's why they specify in that money, we need to put money aside for mental health for people affected by COVID-19. It's like then it's not like something we try to do, it's something we have to do it, and we have to find the right way of doing it.
Well then, and I'll close on this. If we're going to do that, we need to come up with some sort of assurance that the mental health provider agency is being honest with us, because they could very easily take $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 and tell us that they're serving somebody from the city, and in the meantime they're not, or they're putting it in their, their piggy bank. It's a very difficult thing, and
they're going to have to give report to the federal government. It's not just the city.
I totally get it, Mr. Mayor. I've danced this dance before. If we're using money for a medical situation, we are prohibited from asking the client what their medical status is.
Yes.
So that means we have to rely on the provider. I need to see some sort of provision that shows the provider is being honest with us. And, Mr. City Attorney, I'll turn to you afterward. But I want to help. I don't want us to be taken advantage of.
Okay. Next, Councilwoman Keys.
So this 40,000, I questioned it before. So we're just giving $40,000 in some type of fees to these providers so they can give this consultations to our mental health residents affected by COVID. So it's so we're paying their consultation fee.
And before let's make a precision. We're not paying. It's the federal government money, and they said we have to provide the service.
I get it, but we got money. We're taking 40,000 of the money we received, and we're going to pay a provider. And I'm trying to find out what services our residents are getting. It's not who we're paying or whether they're local. It's what our residents. And I was also had heard that part of this 40,000 would go towards our homeless population, and paying a mental health expert. I mean, how are they going to help some of our homeless population? So I just really want to know what services, because it seems like we're just paying fees to a provider and none of this money. I mean, So the recipients are just getting consultations? That's my question. 40,000 is not a lot. You hire someone, all of a sudden their fees are 20, 30,000.
Let me say through the mayor, anybody that we do use, once we put this solicitation out and determine which medical providers that we are going to use, all of them do have boards, and they have to go through. They have their own ethical complaints that can be filed against them. So I believe anybody who we do choose through our process, and we'll come up with the parameters in our process. Right now, we're just designating the funding sources to the particular pots. We will be working on the parameters on when we do put this out to determine which medical providers we're going to work with. We'll have some guidelines on how this moves forward in consideration with the HIPAA laws, as Councilman Galvin has stated. So I would ask. I understand, but it's gonna take us till we get to putting it out on the street to determine who we're gonna work with to get the details and to move through them. Right now, we're looking at the allocation of funding. We will dig deeper into moving forward on how we determine how this mental health 40,000 is dispersed, how people do the reporting and bring it back to us.
Are you done, Councilwoman Keys?
Yeah.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's a couple of questions I have in reference to the 7 programs that was mentioned. And when I met with staff on Friday, we reviewed them thoroughly, and I asked different questions. I'm kind of glad the manager mentioned the one in reference to FIU, because I had advised that they do utilize North Miami adult, which kind of mirrored the population, a lot of the population in North Miami, who probably have a track record. We could train these folks and then let them through the workforce from FIU, because North Miami does have a program that does all of these different aspects. I think we already either given money from them, so that's a conversation we could either have with the school system, and then those folks who are ready kind of send them to the FIU program in terms of that. The other thing is, I had the HIPAA question from day one. We need to be careful in reference to how we do the mental health, which is critical and important. And I don't think it should be limited by people, because we're all affected by COVID. So it needs to be somewhere if you are a resident. Perhaps we need to work with either the United, some type of folks who does the 211 service to children's stress, that could provide us with a guide. Maybe we get someone who is a professional, a licensed clinical person, and we could do that part-time, and where we kind of skip all these going through, because all of these programs sounds good, and my fear is that we're doing too much. We're putting out too much where we are not being able to manage it properly or have the the staff, because we're not back at 100% where we have staff doing this. I think the last application we had with the rental, over 2,000 people applied, and that's a big load for the CRA. And a lot of these things, we already have experience what's going to happen. So the need is out there. We need to make sure if we are putting these programs together, we are able to serve the public and the population extremely well. Lastly, I would say I did talk about the before, but one of the things, the e-commerce program, I mentioned it to the director, that we put out some sort of local folks who are here in North Miami, who's sitting around, who may be able to build website, not necessarily provide the technical assistant, but there are a lot of local folks who are here who have talents that we could perhaps go that route and make sure they'll be able to do it. There's a lot of folks that we have. In terms of the rental assistant, I think we did mention it would be outside of the CRA boundary, from what I understand. And also the food hot meal program, I've run it since COVID for our seniors. I mentioned it to the director as well as the city manager, that we need to get more. I don't think 100 people cut it. We could go and lobby with the restaurant and have them give us either, you know, half of the add half of the folks in a lot of our local restaurants. It's a wonderful idea. It's a great initiative, but I think we need to really take time and put the meat really on the bone of these proposals and make sure that they are detailed, planned out, and so that we could execute them properly. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Irvin? I can't hear you. You have a question?
Yes, so thank you so much. In terms of the rental, the emergency based rental assistant, I've heard the debate and I hear the conversation about making sure it's available to everyone. Let me ask this question. What is the percentage of what's the percentage that's not a part of the CRA in terms of rental? Do we have an idea, an approximation, Mr. City Manager?
Of which percentages of the city that's outside of the CRA?
I'm sorry? What percentage, right, what percentage is not in the CRA in terms of housing, rental housing, approximately? I know you may not have.
I wouldn't have that answer off the top of my head. Let me refer to Tanya. Tanya might have the answer off the top of her head.
Yeah, we don't have the number of units exactly, but we know 60% of the city is in the CRA. So the remaining 40% is outside.
Is it possible that we could structure this where a certain amount is allocated? I don't know how my colleagues feel about that, for people that are not in the CRA. My concern is that people that were in the CRA and that will not receive the lottery have another chance, where people that are not in the CRA don't have a chance. And I'm just trying to see, you know, how could we, and I understand the mayor about, look, everybody, you know, everybody within meeting the guidelines should be able to participate, but can we potentially set some dollars aside, maybe, or you understand, for people that are not within this, people that are not in the CRA, so that we have a higher chance of them getting some, you understand? That's kind of what I'm hoping that we can come to some terms where we have some, whatever dollar amount we decide to set aside for people that are not in the CRA. I just want to make sure that those persons have an opportunity, a real opportunity to access that, because other people didn't have that. I mean, may have had an opportunity with the CRA, but not with that.
Can you rephrase your, the whole money, I think the whole 242 is for people outside the CRA. That's why they did.
Correct, but I've been hearing about our discussion that we're trying to say, I mean, I heard you say, Mr. Mayor, if I heard that correctly, that you didn't want it to be limited to just people that are not outside of the CRA. Was that my understanding?
No, I said for the 242 for the emergency tenant-based rental assistance is gonna be people outside the CRA boundary. We're not gonna say it people outside the CRA boundary, but we're gonna say people in the CRA program should not be participating in that one. That's been the whole 242,000 is for people outside the CRA.
So, okay, so I'll let that go if it's not an issue. Another question that I had during our briefing is that my understanding that there's going to be $1,000 per anyone that qualifies will get $1,000 towards their rent. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. My only concern is different from the CRA, where they're paying up to their rent amount. What if somebody's rent is more than $1,000? And I brought this up in my briefing. Is there any way, and I don't know if we need to get legal here, is there any way that once a landlord receives the relief through the tenant, obviously, that there's language that they give them maybe 60 days before they evicted? For example, if someone has a rent of $1,500 and we're only giving them a relief of $1,000, but they've been laid off and they're looking for work. So they're okay for the month that we covered, but what about that following month? So I would like to see language that allows for the landlord, for there to be an extension in potential eviction, so that if they get that relief, that they can evict the tenant for 60 days or something like that.
The city will work with the attorney's office on putting some language in. Excellent idea to put language in to say that they're guaranteed 90 days. Now it's up to the landlord to accept it, but we can definitely put the language in.
Yeah, but understand also that it's a contract between two private sectors, the tenant and the landlord, and I don't think, we have jurisdiction over that. And I think the best proposal, since the money have to be available for low and moderate income, I think the best idea, if Councilwoman would like to increase the amount, instead of $1,000, make it $1,300 minimum or something like that. I think that would be helpful, instead of put a language that's the landlord can accept or not, because it's a contract between two people and we don't have jurisdiction over that.
I'm not opposed to increasing. I mean, if we can find out what the medium rental is,
it's $1,300.
Yeah, so if I'm not opposed to increasing, but just in the event that we're not increasing, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, for us to help someone out and then 30 days later they're going to be in the street. So if we're going to help them out, help them out.
But I understand your point, but we don't have jurisdiction over that. That's what we try to stick down. Councilwoman Keys, and then Vice Mayor Desulme.
And when you're done,
I think Councilwoman has a good idea, and actually I do think we are have an arrangement with the landlord and the tenant, because I believe they'll be signing something, and they're getting the money. So if they want to get the money, even a portion of it, we want to make sure they don't take the money and then kick out a resident. So I think they can sign an agreement. Okay, we received $1,000, and we'll put it on the back end and have our, keep the tenants there, give them an extra 2 months. So I mean, if they take a check from us, they have an agreement with us. So I think it's a good idea, because we don't want to give a portion of the rent and have them get kicked out anyway. It's not helping anybody. So I think it's a good idea.
What about the rent is $1,300, for example?
When you get 1,000, I think a landlord would rather get 1,000 now than not get 1,300 at all, because if they have to go through an eviction, they'll never see that money. They'd rather at least get 1,000 to help them with their bills. And I think we're not asking them to give away the 300 for the balance, but they could forego eviction or agree to, some type of help.
Okay, Vice Mayor Desulme.
Yeah, real quick, and I think probably Councilwoman Keys might be able to help with that, with her background. Isn't the state or the governor, I like the idea, Councilwoman, isn't there something in place now with the governor that they hold eviction for the next few months? Or is the attorney on no?
I think the most recent extension was through June 2nd.
Oh, well.
Councilwoman Nesime Irvin.
Thank you. I don't know if I missed it, but if approved, how soon will this be available, and when is the lottery date, this application?
The next one. Natasha, through the mayor and council, the next item on the agenda is your approval of the criteria. If approved, it would be announced tomorrow, and the collection of the application would be from the 3rd to, the 27th of May to June 3rd. And the individuals will have until the 12th of June to turn in the completed application. It's the next item for conversation.
Yes, Councilwoman, are you done?
I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, with Natasha, with the advertising that was placed in the paper regarding the program guideline, can they put well, I'm asking that they add an additional location on the west side because it's only one and we know how small it is in terms of social distancing. So either Sunkiss or we take those folks and send them to Jedson or Pepper Park, wherever that we can, since it's only a week. So I think we should have at least, or Joe Sellison, whichever centers that we have that's open, because one little center I don't think will help with the city more intense population. Thank you.
Yes,
And
sir.
something that we miss in that program, $452,000, and in terms of guideline, I see that you didn't put money aside for education about COVID-19 and community outreach for those programs. And in the guidelines, see about between 5 and 10% should put aside for education and community outreach, and I see no money for that.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I didn't hear what you said. You didn't see money for?
And I don't know. I'm in, right?
Well, I'm sorry, I just missed it.
Okay, I'm on mute. What I was saying, I say I don't see, in the guideline, I don't see any, in the guideline, they specify that they should have money for education about COVID-19 and community outreach. But in the proposal, I don't see anything in regards to education, educate the people about COVID-19 and do community outreach for all those programs.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. The grant administration, the very first item, the 10%, is going to be for us doing the marketing and technical support and receiving the application. So the marketing for the program is part of that 10% for the grant administration, which was the first slide, the $45,000, sir.
I see some item I see some programs. How are you gonna show odd that is related to COVID-19, like help someone build a website? How are you gonna justify that?
I'll turn that back over to Tanya.
Because it's clearly specified. It's for items affected to COVID-19.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, the idea under the business section is for business stabilization. And the recommendation there is that we help the businesses to be able to have a digital presence. So it certainly is something that HUD encourages, something that the CDC as well encourages. In this climate of social distancing, many of the businesses have now received less foot traffic, less client presence. And we believe that that digital platform will give them access at least to e-commerce and being able to advertise their goods and their services on it.
If you think you can show that doing that it's related to COVID?
Absolutely, absolutely. Particularly in the area of North Miami where we have such a large business sector right now that is closed. I think it definitely is incumbent on us to make sure that we help them to be able to still move their goods and services, the small businesses in particular, move their goods and services online and have a digital presence. So that's definitely something that I say both HUD and the federal government encourages right now.
And then, city manager, you said that $45,265 is for education, community outreach, and administration. How much of that money gonna go for education and community outreach?
We haven't had determined yet, sir.
Yeah, but if you have 45,000 for administration and the money been given to you, and a part of that money need to educate the community about the problem about COVID-19, and you have to do community outreach for all those programs. That's when you think 45,000 is enough for that. To do administration and education and community outreach.
What the amount of money that we did receive, sir, was limited. We're trying through our allocation of the funds, through discussing with everyone, we try to put our best foot forward with it. I do believe if there is more funding that comes out, we could do more. But right now, we're going to work with what we have with the $45,000 and attempt to get the message out to everyone. I think it's going to be. We do have something on our website. People are looking for help. I don't think it's going to be hard for people to come find us. People are looking for help. As we put stuff out, as we put stuff on our website, as we put stuff out through our regular radio contacts, we have been getting the word out for everything that we do, from food distributions to the assistance that the CRA is giving. So I think right now we're going to be doing the same amount of education that we've been doing. We received over 2,000 applications for the CRA. People are looking for the help. So I feel that this will is significant.
But you said it's the website, but understand that the outreach, in order to get 2,000-3,000 people, it wasn't done based on the website, because all those people coming to pick up an application, they could get it online. The application was available online, but people didn't have the opportunity to print those applications, and they had to come early and pick up those applications and print it. That's mean, and if you see a list of priorities in that money given to you by OD, you will see education, you will see community outreach, educate the community and work with the community. It's a priority. It's two priorities, two important priorities: mental health issues, community outreach, and education. That's something that you should take in consideration. I understand it's not a lot of money, but those components, I think you have to review that, and your administration, you got to making sure we have education and we have community outreach for all those programs. And if there is no, I don't think there is any amendment to the program. There is anyone come up with any amendment or nothing? That's been, if there is none, and can I hear a motion to approve the item the way it is?
No.
Wait. Yes, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, my question was, once these programs are approved, you guys have, what's the time frame? I think you guys said by tomorrow you guys are going to go out and start advertising. I thought we said we would be working to put out a procedure of how we're going to roll these programs, because a lot of them we're not clear. So are we going to do the rental that we know we have some experience in doing, or do you guys need more time? Would it be a week? I'm asking Natasha, instead of tomorrow, you take a couple days, figure this out and let us know how you guys going to do this. But obviously the rental, which is something that's easy, I don't think there's, but the other components, how does that, would you guys more time, or?
Through the mayor, pending the approval of the next item, the only program that would be rolling out tomorrow would be the rental assistance program. Everything else will have to be brought forth in terms of the criteria, the procedures, and make sure that we meet all of our benchmarks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have Councilman Galvin.
Councilman Galvin.
Yeah, really quick question, totally not on this topic. A big thunderstorm is rolling through right now.
Yeah, I know.
If one or more of us loses power, Mr. City Attorney, how does that affect this meeting being able to continue?
The meeting can only continue if you have a quorum. So when you go down to left,
It's gone, Councilman Galvin.
Well, but let's be honest, we're voting on some big stuff in a few minutes, and if power goes out and you've got 3 on but 2 off, it's outside of our individual control. It's not like I got up and walked off the dais or called in sick.
Councilwoman,
you all have the choice to decide to cancel the meeting or move it to another date. There's nothing that says you have to move forward, but you can if you have 3, as long as you have quorum.
Okay, and we do. So are we waiting for maybe a couple minutes and see who logged back on, and we'll decide if we should move forward or not?
Vice Mayor could call the recess.
The
mayor lost.
Yes.
Vice Mayor could call a recess.
Yes. Yes, let's call a 5-minute recess and we'll be right back. Hopefully everybody will be back on in 5 minutes. So it's approximately 3:35, so 3:40.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have to take a recess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm back. Was lightning.
You're still kind of hurt. Now you're back good. Yeah, and Councilwoman Irving is gone. So we took a 5-minute recess until 3:40.
Okay.
So we got 5 minutes. We'll use the restroom.
But can you hear me?
Yes. We'll be back.
Yes, we can.
We're gonna wait for Councilwoman Estimé because there is a lightning in the area and I have to use personal hotspot, and I think the internet is down in the area. Okay.
Okay, we're ready, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's now 3:42, and we're about to go back with our regular council meeting, and we were discussing regarding item. What was the item?
Item F?
We were at tab F, Mayor.
Yes, thank you very much. We're on tab F, and we were about to take a vote, and Vice Mayor had the comment.
Yes, sir. So move to approve. Move to approve. Move to approve.
Second. Oh.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Desilme to approve the item at tab F. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Tab G.
Tab G, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the allocation of a portion of the Community Development Block Grant Funds, CDBG-CV, for fiscal year 2019 to 2020 to fund the Emergency Tenant-Based Rental Assistance, ETBRA, program activity and approving the guidelines as specified in Exhibit A, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab G.
Thank you. I need a quick presentation about this, since we already discussed.
Yes, well, I'll turn it over to Albert Bazil.
Yes.
The Social Services.
Can you do a quick presentation and exactly what it is?
Go ahead, Albert.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council members. Albert Bazil, Housing and Social Service Director to the Interim City Manager. In front of you this afternoon is staff seeking approval of the CDBG Emergency Tenant-Based Rental Assistance Guidelines. In the city last 5 years consolidated plan, rental assistance is listed as one of the activities considered as priority under the CDBG program. However, due to limitation in funding, this activity was never funded. To meet the COVID-19 crisis, one of the categories most affected by the pandemic are renters seeking assistance to remain in their unit. You approved a moment ago the amendment to the fiscal year 1920 and the proposed distribution. With this item, we are asking Council to authorize the funding of the ETBRA using a portion of the CDBG-CV grant funds, as well as approving the guidelines that establish, among other things, how the program will be administered, the eligibility criteria, the requirements of the program, and the lottery process. As mentioned earlier, renters are one of the categories most affected by the pandemic. It is urgent that we assist the residents, and your approval is needed to achieve this goal. Staff respectfully request you approve this item. Thank you.
We are doing two things in that item. Allow you to use $85,000 to the renters program and then approve the guideline.
No, Mayor, I'm asking you to approve the 157 that you just from the CDBG CV grant, 157,427.
The one we just approved?
Exactly, because you need to authorize.
We're approving the guidelines. If I may also add, through the mayor, we need to add, we're going to add the additional site that Councilman Desilme spoke of, and we're going to look to add additional language with the 60 to 90 days that Councilwoman Estimate Urban spoke of. So that's going to be added to the guidelines. We will be adding that to the guidelines.
Okay, thank you very much. And you said what we are approving in that item, you said again, is the guideline plus the 85,000, right?
Excuse me, Mayor?
Tab F, right? That's where we are, right?
No, we are doing tab G.
Okay, what exactly we're doing besides the guideline?
We are approving the guidelines and the funding of this program because we never have this program before.
Okay. Okay. Madam Clerk, do we have public comment? Public hearing on tab J?
I want to use this as an opportunity to remind individuals who are participating by phone that you may press *9 to raise your hand for public comment. I am looking through our application, audio visual, and I do not have any hands raised on this particular item.
Okay, do we have any?
Ricardo, can you confirm that whether anyone raised their hand via phone?
No hands.
No hands, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. Council members? Yes, Councilwoman Irvine?
Yes, Madam Director Bazil, you mentioned that this is for the 157,000, not the 85,000, correct? This is the guideline?
It's the guidelines for emergency rental assistance regardless of the funding.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure because I thought I heard you differentiate the amount. So it's for the total amount, the 242 that we approve of, this is the guideline for the program, correct?
The home one, we already have. This one already exists. The 85,000 that the manager mentioned, we already have guidelines for it. It's in there. The CDBG, we never have a guidelines for the emergency rental assistance for CDBG. That's why we are bringing this one to you.
Thank you. Got
it. Any other question? Can I motion to approve it?
I'm second. Motion to.
Motion to approve it with the question from Councilman Galvin. I can't hear you, Councilman Galvin.
All right, no question. I was going to make a motion to approve.
Oh, okay. Since the motion is there, can I use second?
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estimate Irvin to approve the item at tab G. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Pass H.
Tab H, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager or his designee to issue purchase orders for the purchase of the following equipment and vehicles: 1 mobile compressor, 2 mobile pumps, 1 mobile chipper, 1 mobile trencher, 1 set of mobile vehicle lifts, 1 Ford landscape dump truck, and 1 Ford dump truck, at an approximate aggregate cost of $396,000 from various competitively selected vendors, utilizing the cooperative purchasing provision pursuant to Section 7-169 of the City Code on contracts awarded through the Florida Sheriff's Association under contract numbers FSA 18 VEH 16.0 and FSA 19-VEH 17.0, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. That is tab H.
Thank you very much. We already had a presentation last week on that item. Mr. City Manager, all you're doing is reduce the amount, remove all the cars and add the equipment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. The previous there were 2 items that were condensed that we dropped off. Now we only have the 1 item. The price has gone down from over $800,000 to $396,000. Mostly equipment, 2 trucks that are major issues. One of the trucks has caught on fire twice. The other one is constantly down for repair. So we have reduced this amount by over $400,000. We respectfully request your approval to move forward.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do you have any question? Public hearing is open on the item.
I'm going to remind everyone to press *9 if you would like to raise your hand for this item. I do, however, have a comment from Jessica Alston. Due to the interim acting city manager's demonstrated poor judgment, excessive parentheses, excessive spring settlement, disastrous Red Garden project, withholding of federal emergency pandemic assistance, close parentheses, we should, in capital letters, limit authorizing him to take solo steps to implement agreements, i.e., capital letters, open quotation, further authorizing the interim city manager to take all steps necessary and appropriate to implement the terms and conditions of the agreement. And that is what I have previously submitted. I'm going to check the raised hands on the audiovisual application. Ricardo, can you confirm whether we have any raised hands on the phone?
There are no hands.
And that is all we have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. We're gonna try to act quickly because bad weather. We don't want any interruption in meeting. Can I hear a member of the council? Do you have any questions? Yes, Councilwoman Estime-Irvin.
No, motion to approve.
Yes, thank you.
Second, with a question by Councilwoman Estime-Irvin.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the mayor, assistant Mr. City Manager, how many of these equipment can we forego? Which ones are absolutely necessary? Are there any ones that, can they at least, we do without it for another year? Anything here?
I would say no, Councilwoman. Everything that was possible for us to take off, we took off from the last one. As you recall, the last item, there was an additional item for about 7 trucks, utility trucks, and that amount was $185,000. This specific item here, we took off message boards, we took off several vehicles, we took off everything that we could forego. Right now, I would say the 396, the items listed here are a necessity.
Okay, so let me go line by line. The mobile compressor, is it not working, or is it not functioning right now?
The mobile compressors. Let me turn it over to Jeff Geimer, the capital projects manager, and he's in charge of our fleet. I'll turn it over to him at this moment and let him address the items item by item.
Good afternoon, Jeff Geimer, capital project manager for the city. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'll go through the items very quickly for you. The air compressor that's being replaced was originally purchased in 1996, and it's just no longer reliable.
Sorry, I'm not. So I understand the purchase dates and all that. What I'm saying is that my concern is if we have something that can last us for another year, can we take it off that list?
Yes, ma'am. Everything that we felt that we can make last another year, we've already removed from the list. We've left only the essential pieces of equipment on the list that we need now, or within the next 30 to 60 days when the equipment arrives. If we delay ordering it, we won't have the equipment probably for 10 months at the earliest, and these are items that we feel cannot last 10 more months.
Okay. If I may, Councilwoman, the dais was very clear last meeting, and we went through with the fine-tooth comb and removed everything that could go. We did.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We have a motion made by Councilwoman Carol Keys, seconded by Councilwoman Marie Estime-Irvin. Madam Clerk.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Keys to approve the item at tab H. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estime-Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you very much. Madam.
So we've arrived at the quasi-judicial section of the meeting today. For every single person that will be speaking, please raise your hands or press *9 if you are on the phone, because we will need to swear you all in individually. And so I need to see exactly who will be speaking.
Do you want to do it for all 3 items?
Yes, we're going to do it at once for all 3 items. So if you are speaking on tabs J, A, or L, please raise your hand now. That includes any lobbyists, any members of the public, residents.
A Somebody's having a feedback.
Right. I do have 2 hands raised so far. Davian Thomason. I have David Coviano. Jessica Alston. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Please raise your hand at this time. Ricardo, do you have anyone on the phone who has raised their hand?
Yes, Miss Alston.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to swear each individual in. Mr. Thomason or Damian Thomason, please unmute yourself.
I'm muted.
All right. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And
You're not done, Mayor. David Coviello?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand as I issue this oath. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do.
I do.
Thank you. Ethan Wasserman, can you please unmute yourself?
Unmuted.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do.
I do.
Thank you. Please mute yourself. All right, Ms. Alston, you should have received a PIN to be unmuted. Please enter that PIN.
Miss Alston, just in case the PIN, please enter pound 80749 pound on your phone now.
Can you repeat that, Ricardo?
Sure. Pound, the number sign, 80749, number sign.
Sure.
All right. According to this application, it seems that she may not be attentive, so, all right. We have Olive Gospodarski. Olive Gospodarski? Yes. Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do.
I do.
You do so? Olive Gospodarski, please mute yourself. Paul Tremblay?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do.
I do.
Ms. Alston, Are you there? Are you able to hear us? So unfortunately, because we are not able to swear Ms. Alston in, she will not be able to speak on this item. However, she did previously submit a comment. So we'll read the comment as it applies to tab J, K, and L. And that comment is from Jessica Alston once again. And the comment is, your intent to conduct pertinent city business without citizen input is scandalously unacceptable. And that is the end of the comment. Ricardo, can you just please confirm that we don't have any additional hands raised?
There are no more hands raised.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And the way we're gonna move with those 3 items, and we're gonna hear a quick presentation by the administration, and then after that, if we need a question for the lobbyists or whoever represent the company, we can do that. If there is any question from member of the council. If not, we're just gonna move forward with the approval or reject it without any question. Yes, Tanya.
Thank you. For the record, Tanya Wilson with Community Planning and Development. The request before you is for approval of a tentative plat for the Lisa development. If you could turn to the next slide, Ricardo. So again, the request before you is for approval of a tentative plat. The property is located at 2050 Northeast 151st Street, and that's at the intersection of Northeast 51st Street and Northeast 20th Avenue, also known as Sesame Street. The applicant is seeking to consolidate the 4 parcels on the property. If you're familiar with this location, this is where the old concrete and company is located right there by the train tracks. Portion of the site is vacant. The rest of the 3 parcels do have structures currently on site. They're also looking to vacate a 10-foot wide and 12-foot wide public utility easement. The site itself the district, so it is zoned M1 with a land use of industrial, and currently the uses are within the area of telecommunications and broadcasting facility. The applicant is seeking only a plat approval at this time, so you won't have any site plans or those details. The council is familiar with the process. Typically, you go to the tentative plat review, looking more at the boundaries of the property and looking more at easements on site. And then it goes over to Miami-Dade for review before the plat committee. Then you'll see the second time when it comes back to the city for final plat review. So this is a 2-phase process, and this is the first of the 2 phases in the plat process. So the long-term vision for this property, once they go through the planning process, the applicant is seeking then to create a development with over 832 residential units. It's a mixed-use project with an additional 30,000 square feet of retail office. You'll recall that there was an overlay district that the council approved last year in this SPCOD area. So this is the first activation that we're seeing within this overlay district that was approved by mayor and council last year. Next slide, please. And again, after this approval, it goes over to Miami-Dade County to the plat committee for review. And the applicant will have a period of 18 months in which to file a final plat. And this is the completion of that presentation at this time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tanya. And let's go to Mayor and Council, Councilman Galvin.
Thanks. I hope you can hear me. It's raining and thundering really hard here.
Yeah, we hear you.
So, Tanya, what happened to Channel 2? That's pretty big news if they've left the community.
So the applicant is seeking to activate the entire site. So that building and every other building there. Can you hear me, Councilman?
Go ahead.
Let me try and talk louder. I'll try to get louder and closer. So the applicant's intent is to activate the entire 5-acre site. That would be inclusive of that building that occupies Channel 2. I know that the applicant is online right now. I don't know if they want to add some information as to the future location of that Channel 2 facility. If you could give them an opportunity to speak.
No, Tanya, we unless it's something that's gonna happen. And Councilman Galvin, do you want to hear from the applicant, or you want to move forward with it? Because we want to move quick.
We can move forward. I'll follow up with Tanya separately because I can't hear a word that she said.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any other questions or comments from Mayor and Council? If none, can I hear a motion for approval or whatever it is? Can I hear a motion on the item?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab J. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote? Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Deslame, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Urban, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
The item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much. And now the next item is tab K. And
all right, tab K. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving a tentative plat application submitted by Citadel Plaza LLC and entitled Tentative Plat Citadel Plaza to consolidate the following adjacent parcels, parentheses, as specifically identified with Miami-Dade folio numbers 062230-000-0020 and 06-2230-000-0230, close parentheses, located at 280 Northeast 135th Street into one single parcel with one single folio number in accordance with Article 3, Division 8, Section 3-802 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances and Chapter 28, Section 28-7, parentheses B, of the Miami-Dade County Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. That is tab K.
thank you very much. Tanya, if we can just give us a quick overview of that.
Okay, try to give a quick diagram on slide 2, and that will give you the whole. Next slide, Ricardo. All right, so this gives you an overview of the request that's before you. Again, this is another tentative plat request. The site is at 280 Northeast 135th Street. You'll know it as the Citadel Plaza. That's the new shopping center that's being created at Northeast 135th Street and 3rd Court. The applicant is seeking to take what right now is 2 separate parcels on that site and consolidate it into one whole polygon. So the request would allow for that consolidation of the site, but the future intent is to carve out a portion of the site for the new Wendy's fast food restaurant that will be coming online in that vacant space that you can see on the diagram. So again, like the item before, this is only a tentative plat, so once approved, it will be transmitted over to Miami-Dade County for review, and then you'll see the item again a second time when it comes in for final plat approval. Been reviewed by the Planning Commission and recommended for approval at this time.
Thank you very much. Do you have any question on the dais? Any council member questions? No?
Move for approval.
Mayor, This is the city attorney. Before you move to vote, you need to open it up for public comment. I stepped away to the bathroom on the last vote. I'm not sure if that was open for public comment either.
It wasn't.
Yes, oh, okay. Thank you very much. Can we open it? Open. Public hearing is open on tab K.
So please raise your hand if you wish to speak on this item. I see one individual here, Jerry Proctor.
A resident or a lobby?
Jerry Proctor, I will have to swear you in advance of the testimony you're about to provide. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do.
I do.
Thank you. You may now provide your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, members of the commission. Jerry Proctor, I'm an attorney here representing the applicant on this matter. We appreciate your placement on the agenda. We are in support of staff's recommendation and the conditions contained therein, which were approved by the Planning Commission. We are here to answer any questions that you might have, and we appreciate your hearing us and your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open on the item. Do you have any other question, Madam Clerk?
No, we do not have anyone as far as I can see. Ricardo, can you please confirm that nobody has raised their hand on the phone?
There are no more hands raised.
So there are no hands raised, Mayor.
We have a motion already made by Councilwoman Maggie Irvin.
Second.
A second by Councilwoman Ortiz.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estime Irvin to approve the item at tab K. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desome, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys, how do you vote?
Yes.
Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much. Before we move forward, and let's go back to tab J. Can we open public hearing to see if there's anyone wish to comment on the item besides the lobbies, like any resident, any comment? Madam Clerk?
At this time, I do not see any hands raised for item J, for the item at tab J. Ricardo, can you confirm whether anyone has raised their hand on the phone? And for those on the phone, a reminder that you may press *9 to raise your hand to speak during public comment.
I see no hands.
Thank you very much.
Tab L, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the site plan for a proposed 3-story, 30,850 square foot commercial building with office space and car display areas on the 0.75 acre real property generally located at southwest corner of Northeast 141st Street and West Dixie Highway, and specifically identified with Miami-Dade County Folio number 06-2219-015-2410. In accordance with Article 2, Division 7, Section 2-701, and Article 3, Division 2, Section 3-204 through Section 3-206, and Article 3, Division 3, Section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled, quotation marks, Land Development Regulations, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab L.
Thank you very much. Presentation by Tanya Wilson-Sejour.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This final request for you for approval of a site plan. Ricardo, if you could turn to the next slide. For a new commercial development that's located at Northeast 131st Street, Dixie Highway. Next slide, Ricardo. Thank you. So as you can see before you, the lot is currently vacant, and the address of the property again is Northeast 1, 41st Street and Dixie Highway. It's approximately 32,865 square feet in size, so it's a little under an acre. The site itself is zoned C1 with a commercial land use. And the request, next slide please, Ricardo. So the request would be to create a modern commercial facility that's approximately 30,850 square feet in size. It would include office space, also space for indoor storage of classic vehicles. We have a race car owner from Argentina, Pablo Perez Compact, who actually has a collection of private collection of cars that he'll be housing in that space for his guests. So you'll see the collection on the screen in the rendering. So that space is a 3-story space that will have not just the collection of the cars, but also a lounge area, a terrace area with a rooftop pool. There will be race car simulation in the space. So it's an indoor private collection space, particularly for the use of this property owner and his guests. Next slide, please. And as you can see there, the site plan before you for the space, it really articulates Dixie Highway with the building being pulled closer to the street edge. It satisfies the city's open space requirement, actually exceeds it in terms of the green space that's being provided. We think this is particularly important on the Dixie corridor. It's the first development that we've had on Dixie Highway in probably over the last 30 years. So we're pleased that Mr. Compact has chosen to locate his facility here in North Miami to help to activate that location within the city and to bring in a clientele. We hope that will shop and support the North Miami local businesses. So the applicant will have up to 18 months in order to move the site plan forward towards construction. Staff will be assisting and helping to move the process along. This concludes the presentation at this time.
Thank you very much. And now let's open it to the public. Public hearing is now open.
All right, so at this time, please raise your hand if you would like to speak on this item. A reminder, if you are on the phone, *9 to be able to raise your hand and speak. All right, so I have David Coviello. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. David Coviello with law offices at 200 South Biscayne Boulevard in Miami.
Continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I have a PowerPoint presentation, Mayor, to go through the project, but I know that you're trying to move things along. So if you'd like, I can go through that. Or if you prefer just to have a discussion.
And unless members of the council like to see the presentation, if they don't have any objection to the project, how long it's gonna take? Just a few.
No, Mr. Mayor, may I?
Mm-hmm.
May I suggest that so this is in my district. If you allow me to speak, I'm so excited about this project. I have been in communication with David before and with and the department with Tanya. I definitely approve of the project. What I would recommend is, because of the lightning and the thunders and whatever else we can have, if David, if you wouldn't mind, just if everyone approves of it, we can just go and do a presentation with each elected official on their own. But it's in my district. I love it. I think it's a great idea. I'm very excited. Like Tanya said, I've been preaching about West Dixie, something happening in West Dixie corridor. So I'm really excited about that project. And unless, I don't know how you get my colleagues.
Good. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, he had already, gave us a presentation, well, at least me, a couple months ago. I don't know.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And Is there no question? Yes.
Okay. I'm very in favor of the project. I just have two questions. One for staff, which I didn't ask. The first question is, what is the use considered on this, with this use? What is the use of this property? And two, are we going to have any restrictions on the property for resale of cars? There's a showroom for beautiful cars. It should be restricted. These cars should not be for sale. Otherwise, it becomes a used car lot. So those are my two questions.
Councilwoman, this is David Coviello. We can certainly agree that to not have the cars be sold. This is the cars are going to be privately owned and just displayed owners. I can certainly agree to that. In terms of the use, the use under the zoning code is an office and a private garage, both of which are permitted in the C1 district.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
You have one more hand raised.
What happened?
I believe we still have another hand raised. Olive Gospodarski.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Is it a resident or someone representing the
Yes,
project?
I'm a resident.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the council hearing me. I've been living in this house on 141 since 1986.
Ma'am, I apologize for interrupting you. You'll need to restate your name for the record and also your address, and remember that you have 2 minutes to speak.
Kindly thank you. My name is Olive Gospodarski. I live at 1251 Northeast 141 Street.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you kindly. All right. We reviewed the whole project, and I agree with everybody. It's a great project. There's something that North Miami needed. My concern as a homeowner, since we reviewed the plans, on page 18 of the plans, it doesn't show that the homes are occupied on 141st Street around this project. And my concern is when all these bulldozers comes in and the concrete and everything else, what's it going to do with the properties in the area? Can somebody help me there?
Thank you very much. Finish your comments, and after that, we will be able to answer you, ma'am.
Okay, that's basically my question, since it's going to be a major construction site. How is it going to affect the homes in the area?
What you would like to see as a resident?
Well, I don't want to see a mess of trucks in my yard, that's for sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Also, one more comment.
Mm-hmm.
We are coming upon hurricane season. Will there be any issues if they do start this project in the middle of hurricane season? Will they be safely done?
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Do you have any other comments?
I am going back through. And we do not have any comments left for this item. Ricardo, can you please confirm?
That's correct. No more comments.
Thank you very much. Who's going to answer that question? I think the resident concern is they don't want any shock.
Mayor, through the mayor, we have a set of procedures that the building department follows once hurricanes do come. They go around to all active building sites and they review how they've locked down their materials and everything. It's something that automatically goes into place once we have the hurricane watch on. The building department goes through and reviews all of our active construction sites. So that will take place immediately if there is a hurricane warning out there.
What about the first issue? About trucks on the property? That's, I think, the concern of the resident.
Well, the trucks won't park on any private property. They may park in the swale area if that does happen, but there won't be any trucks on private property.
Can we hear from the property owner and that they're gonna making sure that they don't see any upload or unload trucks on private property in the back?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, David Coviello. Yes, we during construction, that construction is staging, et cetera, is done on our property. And we'll certainly, during the construction process, we'll certainly communicate with the immediate neighbors. If they have any concerns, we can address them, but construction staging will be on our property.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do we have any other comment?
I will check once again. And at this time, no, we do not.
Thank you very much. And I have a motion on the floor made by Councilwoman Estime Irvin. Who seconded?
Girl. I have a motion made. I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estime Irvin to approve the item at tab L. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. Councilwoman Keys, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote? Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Thumbs up, yes.
Yes.
Mayor Bienemay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desime, how do you vote?
Yes.
Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab M, discussion regarding city manager selection / appointment. Tab M.
Thank you very much. Now we are at the last item on the agenda is the appointment of a city manager. And we all know that we are facing a lot of challenges, especially due to COVID-19, or financial situation, or budget and everything. And I think at this time, as we're about to put together our budget for the next fiscal year, 2020-2021, it's time to have a permanent city manager. And I think this is where we are, and this is one of the decisions that mayor and council have to take. This is one part of our job, and before we make a motion, I don't know if there is council member who would like to make comments before I move with my motion. Yes, Vice Mayor Desulme.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say before we start with the process, I want to especially thank Joe and Barbette from the personnel department, who has been able to, they've been great throughout the process, but I had asked them to help me out with some questions, and they have been tremendously very, very good and professional in terms of their service to the city. So they initially gave me a list of questions. I did what I needed to do, and I did talk to everyone, all of the applicants except one of them that we couldn't reach. So I was very, very gracious. I'm going to say thank you to Joe and the personnel department along with Babette. That's basically it.
Thank you very much. Councilman Galvin, any comments before we move forward? No. Councilwoman Carol Keys?
Are we going to have any discussion after your motion, or do you want us to just go?
No, we're talking about comments.
I've looked at the applications. I have not spoken or interviewed anybody. I hear there have been some Zoom interviews, which I had not thought of. I definitely didn't want to do a phone interview. I am of the opinion, because we are in COVID, we are in a state of emergency, that I don't think it's prudent that we go for or hire someone who has not been in the city, someone we don't know, someone we've not met, do not know their background, because under this emergency meeting, we have given the our manager, we've waived all of our guidelines, and whoever we hire, whoever we hire as manager continues to have full discretion on contracts, obligations, distributions, supplies. I just am not comfortable really hiring a stranger. We're going into hurricane season, which is not really the deciding factor. And then in 6 weeks, we are then going on a hiatus where we are again going to turn over full responsibility and authority to our manager for another 6 weeks. So I'm a little hesitant in hiring from the outside at this time. So I'll wait and hear what your motion is.
Thank you very much. But remember, and when we were putting that bid out, you stated clearly that you need a national search, and you don't want any washer. And let's remember that that's mean it was the first intention to do a national search.
I did that, and that was in January. That was before we had this COVID issue, which is what stopped us from going through all the interviews. Before we shut down, we said, "Oh, we'll start interviewing," and I'm the one who said, "We're not going to be able to start interviewing. People are not traveling." And that being said, we do have some very excellent applicants
Thank you.
that I've looked at.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Estime Irvin.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to all of the 14 persons actually, even though we had 15, but one was non-responsive. But to the 14 person that actually took the time out to apply to serve our city. Like I've mentioned to everyone that I spoke to, I love this city. I want to see the best for this city. So I thank you in advance for your time. And I just to talk to my colleague, Councilwoman Keys, in reference to, so I think a professional, in my opinion, professional, whether in-house or not, a true professional will just be able to get the work done. So that's what I have to say on that. But thank you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you very much. I want to, first of all, thank the current administration, especially during COVID-19. Nobody knew about COVID-19. Nobody have experience in COVID-19. And we were able to do whatever we can and to making sure that we have a city. And as of right now, we do have a city, and I want to thank the administration for the effort. Understand that nobody was expert on COVID-19 or whatever it is. We just need someone qualified, someone that can start working on day one, someone who do have experience in management, someone who do have experience when it comes to emergency management, and someone that can lead the city, whether it's inside or outside. And I see you raise your hand, Vice Mayor Desulme. You were going to say something?
Yes. Yes, actually, I just briefly, Mr. Mayor, before you continue, I do want to thank the applicant, although I thank Joe and his staff for doing a superb job on recruiting this. This is a new pandemic. Nobody knows when this is going to be over. We don't know, what's going to happen. I don't think none of us have experience. We do have it with hurricanes, but this is a totally different thing in terms of that. So if we're going to do it, whichever way, if we're keeping it in-house or outsourcing, whatever the case is, it will just going to have to happen, because a couple of weeks ago, we didn't know that we were going to be here in this type of form of meetings. But I do want to thank the applicants. They were extremely well. The group that I interviewed, and I did it in 2 days. Had to go to City Hall and just kind of get it done. And they were very, very from. I don't think there was that many from here. Maybe a few from South Florida, but all of them were very impressive and had different different array of experience, all the 14 that I talked to. And I was able to talk to a couple of them back after the first one. I had some questions and I wanted to keep it fair. Gave everybody 45 minutes to whichever the times when I did go back and talk to a couple that I did have other questions for, and that may have some questions for me. So I just wanted to say thank you to them. I did not know when I asked Rosa to just kind of put out, interviews for me. I didn't know I was going to get anyone. I thought maybe one or two people, but everyone, she came back within a couple of hours and say she had everybody within a day. And everybody was on time. I was late once sitting on Zoom. So thank you. A lot of talented people out there looking at our city. A lot of folks out there that are incredibly talented. And I asked them this one question: why would you want to come here with all the stuff that you probably hear and read? And they all want to say they want to make some changes. And some of them even called me back and gave me a lot of different pointers in terms of whatever that we decided to do. So I do want to thank those applicants and everyone else who were part of the process. So thank you, and thank you, Councilwoman Irving, for reminding me just to say a shout out to the applicants for taking the time. Thank you.
And another thing I want to say, we have 15 good applicants, and I'm pretty much sure each of us have someone in mind that may be different from the other. That's why I would prefer that we do that on a compromised way. That means it may not be the person that I want, the person that you want, and the person that one of us want. But if we feel like the person can do the job on day one, and let's do it on a compromised way. That may not be my candidate, but that candidate, at least we know the person can do the job. And I think it's most likely that's what I would like to see from Vice Mayor, from council members. If we can compromise on someone that we know for sure can start managing the city from day one. And I did a lot of interviews and a lot of good candidates, but at the end of the day, we have to choose one, and I hope that we compromise on that. And out of those 15 people, and me, I would like to go outside, because when it comes to the city, there's a lot of challenges. There is a lot of change, I think, that's need to be made within the administration. And I would prefer that we go outside to when someone from day one can start doing the job, but at the same time can do the change that we want to see in the city. We want to see a workforce that understand they have a work to do, they got to do their job, or they got to go find a job somewhere else. And I think that's one of the major problems that we have in the city. We have a lot of people in the city. They're very, very, very comfortable. Very, very, very comfortable. Whether they do the job or not, they feel like they're very, very, very comfortable. And I hope that whoever comes as a city manager, whether if we conclude that it will be inside, we do understand that and we need to do something. We need to manage the city the way we're supposed to. And anybody working for the city need to understand it's either they're doing their job or they find a job somewhere else. And out of those 15 candidates, and I really have 4 or 5 candidates I think can do the job on day one. And it's May, and my motion is to hire Mrs. Teresa Terilus and as the new city manager for the city of North Miami. I did a lot of interview, and I feel like she can do the job on day one. As a matter of fact, not only she have administrative experience, but she's also a lawyer. And as a matter of fact, she did the first internship in the city of North Miami as a lawyer. She was working under the leadership of John de la Gloria as an internship and at the city attorney's office. And she been working for the county. She know the city of North Miami. She been working elsewhere. That means she can bring all those experience together. And I think that will be my motion, is to hire or appoint Miss Teresa Terilus as the new city manager for the city of North Miami.
And I'll second that.
Thank you very much. And now we're gonna open public hearing. And Madam Clerk, I don't know if there is anybody on the public who would like to comment on that, since it's a discussion item, but at the same time we are going to vote on it. And if there is any public comment.
All right, I'm going to check and see if anybody has raised their hand for this item. All right, I have one hand raised. That is Jessica Alston.
Yes. Go ahead, Ms. Jessica.
Ms. Alston, are you able to unmute yourself?
Ms. Alston, please enter the PIN on your phone.
It's star 9, isn't it?
No, press the pound, the number sign 80749 number sign.
Or can she call over the phone? And
She is over the phone, it appears. Is that correct, Ricardo?
Yes, she's over the phone. She has to enter the PIN in order for us to unmute her.
Okay, please repeat the PIN for her.
Ms. Alston, please enter number sign 80749 number sign.
can she email a comment so we can read it? Since you know the weather is not that climate with us.
You know, we do have comments that were previously submitted, and as you know, she did submit some comments prior. I will wait to see if my email is here. Yes, my email is here. It's on my phone right now. So I'll just wait and see if she does submit a comment via email, and I will advise you if I do see one come up.
Thank you very much, and now let's close public hearing. In the meantime, if Ms. Jessica is able to speak, so we can win her. But let's come up on the dais, member of the council. Anyone wish to speak right now? If not, then Madam Clerk, we have a motion.
Right.
Yeah. Vice Mayor.
No. Never mind. I had the wrong.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
All right. I have a motion made by Mayor Bieneme to appoint Teresa Terilus as city manager of the city of North Miami. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estime Irvin. I'm going to do a roll call vote.
Yes.
So give me 1 second as I jot down the names. Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
No.
Councilwoman Keys, how do you vote?
No.
Vice Mayor Deslame, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Carries 3-2.
Yes.
May I make a motion that we accept Ms. Theralis as our new manager with a vote by acclamation?
What happened?
I'd like to suggest that we have a vote to accept Ms. Theralis by acclamation, meaning that we would unanimously as a group support her being brought in so that she can start the job with a 5-0 vote, hopefully.
Yes, that's mean right now you want to change your vote?
No, it's a separate motion, and maybe the city, I don't want to belabor this. Maybe the city attorney wants to jump in. I recognize what the outcome is, but to give Ms. Theralis the boost we can, a 5-0 vote by acclamation.
I would second your motion, Scott.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, and the motion is to vote to appoint Madam Teresa by acclamation. The 5-0 vote.
I have a motion to cast a vote by acclamation to appoint Teresa Terralis as city manager of the city of North Miami, made by Councilman Galvin. Seconded by Councilwoman Keys. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desame, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Mayor Biename, how do you vote?
Yes.
So the motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to Teresa Terilus and Mr. Attorney and the personnel department. Please contact Ms. Terilus, and so in 2 weeks we get to approve a contract, please.
Sure.
Thank you very much. And now, Citizen Forum. Do we have Ms. Alston?
So I do have an email from Ms. Alston that just arrived.
Yes. Go ahead.
And it's need more info. So
What happened?
the comment is need more info. So
Thank you very much.
that's all I have.
Do we have any other comment?
Yes, we do. We have about 4 comments that were previously submitted,
Go ahead.
and I will read them now. All right. The first comment is Rachel Goldberg, excuse me. I'm just going to set this timer. Rachel Goldberg, 1330 Northeast 134th Street, North Miami, Florida, 33161. I am writing to ask if there is a set of protocol and evaluation tools in place to be used and or required for the hiring of North Miami City Manager. Can you please let me know specifically what protocol and evaluation tools are in place and being used and or are required to evaluate the finalists and come to a conclusive decision on filling the North Miami City Manager position, such as rubrics, evaluation checklists, scoring tools, required number of letters of recommendations, checking references, and compilation forms of all decision-making note tools and conversations and interviews used and or required in coming to conclusions and choosing the finalist and candidate for the city manager position. Additionally, can you please let me know the amount of transparency and access community members will have into and through the selection process of the candidates and all the evaluation tools used in scorings in detail, such as all those mentioned above, in coming to conclusions and choosing the finalists and candidates. There is tremendous community discussion about the necessity and utmost importance of filling the crucial city manager position with the most qualified, professional, capable, fiscally responsible candidate. I look forward to your response. Just for the record, Mayor, I did respond to that email because it was sent to me individually as well.
Okay.
William Simpson, 2005 Alamanda Drive, North Miami, Florida, 33181. Why hasn't the CAFR been released to the public so we can see the true state of the financial condition of the city? Next comment is Bob Bashan, 13005 Coronado Terrace. Mayor and Council, the coronavirus pandemic is a historic health crisis and even economic crisis for the world, our country, and our city. On the health front, we must all do our part to help stop the spread of this virus. Economically, North Miami businesses have been closed for months, and the future viability, some is uncertain. Many residents have lost their jobs, been furloughed, or faced company downsizing. People wait in long lines for food distribution out of sheer desperation. Future is seriously in doubt. North Miami has eliminated working hours for hundreds of part-time employees. They have reduced the hours and income for non-union employees and informed the union that the same is in store for union workers. No group seems untouched except our elected officials. As leaders of this community, your approach will be either, 1, we are all in this together, or 2, we leaders are above the struggle. This council has generously rewarded itself with increases in salary and expenses. Now is the time to take some of that largesse and join with the residents and employees of our city in the battle we face. Please do the right thing. Jessica Alston. The performance of NOMI in assistance to its citizens in the coronavirus pandemic has been horrendous. You did not even offer masks to your residents. It took 2 months for you to begin to think about a response. How is that possible with an emergency management department? You began your virtual meetings with no attempt to inform the citizens on how to participate, i.e. access plus use the GoWebinar software. This is why no one has ever raised their hand to comment. Your earned grade is F. With over $2 million wasted in Red Garden, now you consider furloughing staff due to budget shortfall. Furlough essential services like the police department. Question mark. The NOMI Police has provided a stabilizing foundation throughout the pandemic. We need them to remain in place. You should have furloughed, parentheses, not funded, the $700,000 to Red Garden, the $8,000 monthly rental fee, and the party money. Why have you exempted yourselves from cost saving? You too should share the furlough experience. Temporary city manager, city attorney, and city council members. Can you recoup the spring golden? Capital letters, think again, exclamation mark. And that is the end of the previously submitted comments. I'm going to see whether anybody has raised their hand for a public comment, Mayor, for Citizens Forum. Ricardo, do you have anyone on the line who has raised their hand?
Hi, this is Claude. I'm answering for Ricardo. I don't see any hands currently.
That concludes what we have available to us as far as comments, Mayor.
Much, and now we are going to close public citizen forum, and now council report. District 1, Councilman Scott Galvin. Thank you very much. District 2, Councilwoman.
Yes. Welcome our new attorney. Two, I would like to thank our directors and staff and those who've agreed to give up the 2 furlough days a month. I know our staff is questioning why the council is not being included, and I would just like to say that I have already made it known to management that I will be giving up 2 furlough days from my salary, commensurate with what our directors are doing. I think it's the right thing. We did take a big raise, but I think at this time, in our potential economic hardship, that I'll give up my 2 days. I'm not making a motion. The rest of you do that. That's up to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Council report, District 3, Councilwoman Marie-Estime Irvin. Do you have any report?
No report. Just want to thank Katia Filippo and everybody else involved in recognizing Haitian Flag Day even through this pandemic. Thank you very much. DJ Nikki Nix and DJ Whiskey. I hope I'm saying her name right. Thank you so much for that acknowledgement. Thank you to staff actually that are helping us out through this pandemic, especially last night with the flooding. I want to thank you, Whistler. It was 10, 11 o'clock. I'm still calling because we had flooding and sewage situation going on. Thank you for handling that. Just want to remind people to continue to honor, to celebrate. I want to recognize State Representative Gotti that has been acknowledging or highlighting Haitian American in the community throughout this Haitian Heritage Month that have brought, that's made this community better. So just encourage you to learn a little bit more about the Haitian American culture, Haitian American experience during this Haitian Heritage Month. And also would like to wish all mothers, but especially Haitian American mothers, a happy Haitian American mothers or happy Mother's Day. In the Haitian culture, the last Sunday of the month of May is when we celebrate Mother's Day. So just want to make sure that I say happy Haitian Mother's Day. Again, especially my mother.
Let's not say happy Haitian Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone celebrating this coming.
Happy Mother's Day to
There's a lot of other countries that celebrate Mother's Day at the last Sunday of the month.
You are correct. Thank you so much. And that's all that I have to say for now. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Desulme.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to remind the residents that the census is certainly still out. We are at a national average of 60%. Florida is 57.3. Miami-Dade is 50.4.8. In North Miami, we are 53.3. So we still active. We're asking all the residents, please complete your census if you can. We know this is vital. And this is very important. I want to thank staff. We worked on something, a report that you guys asked, which I sent to everyone. That report, just our strategies, what we're doing as far as moving forward. I also wanted to to thank Rasha from the CRA along with her husband for helping us, the pantry, to raise $12,000 as of now. Thank you so much. Those donors do not want to be acknowledged publicly. We have acknowledged them privately. Councilman Galvin, thank you so much for leading Ernest Pacino to donate some canned goods. We definitely looking forward. We were able to feed 400 families, delivered about 85 homes in District 2 and 1 mostly. And then District 3 and 4 were able to pick it up the next 2 days. We were able to do that. Again, I want to thank Mr. Ross, the Evan Ross family, for helping us out. Happy belated Memorial Day to everyone. And happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day and upcoming Mother's Day, et cetera, et cetera. And I want to say congratulations to Miss Teresa Termarise coming on board. It's a lot of work, and hopefully you are up for the challenge. Want to thank the administration as they work through the transition process to make sure that it's smooth. We are looking for a better and more, I guess, open North Miami for all of the residents of the city of North Miami. And thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. And let's go quickly because the weather. Madam Clerk, your report.
I want to remind everyone to please register to vote by mail if you have not already done so. It is certainly for your safety and your security. We still want you to participate in the upcoming election, so it's critical if you are concerned about the status of this virus in August, which is totally understandable. Please do your best to protect not only yourself and your family, but your community by voting by mail. In addition to that, I want to wish all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day, and I hope that you all had an enjoyable, a pleasant Memorial Day as we honor the sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifice that men and women made to ensure that we have the luxuries and the freedoms that we enjoy this very day. So thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you very much, City Manager.
No report.
Thank you very much, City Attorney.
No report, sir.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much.
I have a motion to adjourn made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Councilwoman Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Adjourned at 5:02. Thank you, everyone.